This is right in the middle of Sydney. There are hundreds and thousands, I'd say, of people standing around looking up. Police are continuing to cordon off the area. We were actually standing a little closer but have been moved back because the building has continued to collapse while I've been standing here.
Okay, and now, Harriet, we might just go back to, because just when we came on air, broke into normal programming, there was a really substantial collapse of at least part of one of the walls, and we might just roll that vision once again. And I might just ask you, could you hear that moment? Because it looked like it was a really significant moment and something that would have generated quite some noise.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there was this massive collapse and then a roar when the fire went higher into the sky, emitting this black smoke across the city. It was an incredibly distressing thing to hear. People all around me let out this audible gasp at the site that was just this building right in the centre of Sydney collapsing. It was actually the second collapse that I saw, that I've seen since I've been down here, which has been about 20 minutes at this stage. It's an incredibly distressing sound to hear a building collapse. And as I said, police have told us at this stage they don't know whether that building was vacant or not. So we'll just have to wait for those updates from authorities.
Yeah, and just to put this in perspective for people who might know this area roughly but can't really pinpoint where this is themselves. So Randle Street is that little street that comes off Elizabeth as you're heading south and actually joins with Chalmers Street. So it's that street that goes off on an angle as you're heading south on Elizabeth Street, really close to Central Station, on the eastern side of Central Station. And Harriet, have you heard what's happening with the trains?
Only what I've overheard by standing here looking at the fire, Joe, and I have heard that some trains have been cancelled. I don't have that detail about exactly what ones, but certainly some train services have been cancelled. And of course the light rail has been cancelled. That's basically where I'm standing. You know, about 4 metres to my right is the light rail tracks, and of course they are not running at this stage. So no doubt this will throw Sydney's public transport this afternoon and into the evening into chaos. But I think the other thing I'd like to note about exactly where I'm standing is this is predominantly a pedestrian area. So when you walk underneath Central Station and when you get off the light rail, you know, this is an area where there aren't cars allowed on the street that I am standing right here. This is a space where people can walk. And in a way, that adds to the distress of this, because lots of people were just walking home from work or walking to get some form of public transport when this fire broke out. And we understand that it broke out on level 3 of that 7-storey building. So an incredibly distressing thing happening here right in the centre of Sydney.
Yeah, so if people are just joining us, we're watching live pictures of a really significant blaze in downtown Sydney. It's just over the railway line at Central Station into Surry Hills, so not on the city side of Central Station but on the Surry Hills side. And this 7-storey building has gone up in flames in really dramatic fashion. And you might be able to see, I think in earlier shots there was a building, looks like a building beside it has caught fire to an older building, but there are other buildings around as well which appear to be residential, and firefighters have been working furiously to try to stop the blaze. And I think you can see at the very bottom left of the screen there is one of those balconies where it looked like a blaze took hold and firefighters were able to put that out. But then just in the last 20 minutes there was a really dramatic collapse of some of the walls, but it looks like to the amateur eye that the walls that fell at that stage fell inward rather than outward, and so hopefully that has helped. It would appear to have helped the firefighters in terms of trying to stop this blaze from spreading to other buildings. But you can just see from the size of this and the intensity of this blaze that is going to continue to be a huge challenge to try to stop this spreading to nearby buildings.